Welcome to another edition of the True North Country Comics podcast, dedicated to promote Canadian comic book creators and supporters. I'm John Swinimer. On this episode, I have another interview from Fan Expo 2017, chatting with Dave McCaig. Dave is an artist and colorist who also works in the animation industry. His work includes Adam Strange, X-Men, Star Wars, Superman Birthright, The Matrix Comics, Next Wave, New Avengers, Northlanders, American Vampire, and Nemesis. His animation projects have included the first 3 seasons of the 2004 Batman animated series at Warner Brothers, and various duties on the 4th Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. On this conversation, Dave talks about his recent projects, including Low with Rick Remender, and provides his personal feedback about the comic book scene in Toronto. And he also gives his feedback about his recent AV adventure, so that's pretty cool too. But before I go further, I encourage you to like this podcast on iTunes and definitely check out the TrueNorthCountryComics.com website. Like it on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and discover a lot more information about Canadian comic book creators and supporters. And now, without further ado, here's my conversation with Dave McCaig.
Right now I'm working on a book called Low with Rick Remender and Greg Ticini. And it's a post-apocalyptic kind of world where the sun has overheated the surface of the earth and irradiated it. So everybody has gone into cities under the ocean. But it's tens of thousands of years after all of this technology has been built, and nobody remembers how to build it or fix it anymore. So it's this decadent society that's being destroyed by the environment, and a small group of people, mostly this one family, is trying to help humanity escape from the earth and find a new planet to live on that's habitable. And it's full of tragedy and incredibly beautiful, very slowly turned around art.
You talked recently, last time I saw you were making the move to Toronto, and you've now come back.
I have, yes.
Toronto. Could you talk about the scene here, the comic book creation scene, what it's like?
Sure. Yeah, Toronto's a hotbed for comics. It's great. There's a studio called The Raid, which is a 10-minute walk from my my house that I'm living in right now. And, it's a really warm and inviting community. It's a big enough community that there isn't a lot of, let's call it, competition between people. So people are very supportive. And it's a good, nurturing community and a good place to live if you're working in comics and want a friendly environment where you don't feel like everybody's hustling to get your job or something like that.
Can you tell us what's coming down the road without getting in trouble?
No. I'm working on a secret project that's going to take me about 5 years to do, and it's not going to get revealed till the end. So unfortunately, I can talk about Low, and that's about it.
5 years is a long time.
It is a very long time.
I see you're working with a Wacom tablet. Most of the artists here are actually drawing. I'm wondering what your preference is and what drew you to, no pun intended, to this type of style.
I went through advertising illustration in Winnipeg at Red River College in the late 80s, early 90s. And they had one of the first graphics tablets that were available there and the first version of Photoshop. So I used to work traditionally up until that point till I was, 18? And I've been digital ever since. So for me, this is my paper. Working digitally for me is it's just one more tool in the toolbox. It's just an expensive electric pencil.
I noticed online you were talking about having some issues with your AV system. Wondering if you ever got that figured out.
I did. I have a ridiculous AV system. I have it set up so that I have a Harmony hub, and I have it set up with Alexa so that I can tell my television when to turn on and turn off, and I can tell my projector when to turn on and turn off, and all of my lights in my house are set up that way. And I have a hopeless snake den of cables behind my AV cabinet.
So if only you could get Alexa to do your drawing for you, you'd be okay.
One day.
Thanks to Dave for talking with me. And thanks to you for listening to the True North Country Comics podcast. I invite you to subscribe, like, and comment on the podcast. Please send your feedback to truenorthcountrycomics@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and come back soon for another episode. Bye for now.